Have you ever noticed that the moments that change everything rarely announce themselves? There's no dramatic music, no flashing lights, no warning that your life is about to take a sharp turn. Instead, these moments slip in quietly. Often, when you read distracted. Maybe it happens while you're sitting in a classroom, staring at a board full of words you technically understand but don't feel connected to. Or perhaps you're lying awake at night, your mind replaying the same loop of thoughts that have haunted you for years. It could even be while you're scrolling through your phone, watching fragments of other people's lives, while your own life feels like it's been put on hold. And then, somewhere beneath all that noise, a thought begins to form. It isn't loud or dramatic, it's just honest. It says, "This can't be all there is." It's not a craving for more money, more applause, or more validation from others. It's a deep, quiet ache for something more within yourself. More courage, more discipline, more commitment to the person you know you could be, the one you keep putting off until tomorrow. This realization is incredibly uncomfortable because it strips away all your favorite excuses. It forces you to confront a truth most people spend their entire lives avoiding. Your life hasn't been limited by a lack of talent or intelligence. It has been shaped by the decisions you make when no one is watching, especially the decision to delay, to wait, to postpone. This is the story of Jason, who lived inside that quiet tension for years. From the outside, his life looked great. He was smart. He understood concepts quickly, and his teachers always pointed out his potential. His friends assumed he had it all figured out. People expected great things from him, and that very expectation became his perfect hiding place. Because here's the thing, understanding is not the same as doing. Being naturally smart gave Jason an escape route. As long as he didn't fully commit, he could never fully fail. As long as he didn't give his absolute best, any disappointment could be blamed on bad luck or unfair circumstances. His potential became his protection, and over time, that protection slowly turned into a form of paralysis. Every new semester felt like it could be a fresh start. He'd buy clean notebooks, organize new schedules, and whisper quiet promises to himself late at night. Tomorrow, I'll take this seriously. But morning always demanded something different. It didn't ask for promises. It demanded discipline. It demanded effort before motivation decided to show up. And Jason wasn't ready to pay that price. One missed class turned into another. One small excuse grew into a habit. The days passed by quietly, but the consequences didn't. He wasn't falling behind because he couldn't keep up. He was falling behind because he had stopped stepping forward. What hurt him wasn't the bad grades. It was the quiet, knowing awareness that he was slowly abandoning himself. Each skipped lecture, each unopened book, each delayed project added more weight to a question he desperately tried to ignore. What if this isn't just happening to me? What if I'm choosing this? It is so much easier to blame our circumstances than to accept the hard truth that growth requires discomfort, and discomfort had become something Jason avoided at all costs. Then came the phone call from his mother. It wasn't a harsh call. It didn't break him because of anger. It broke him because it was gentle. Her voice was filled with a deep fatigue, not disappointment. It was the sound of love stretched thin by worry. And when she softly suggested that maybe college wasn't the right path for him right now, Jason realized she wasn't giving up on him. She was protecting herself from the pain of hoping again. That single realization lingered long after the call ended. The next morning, something inside him shifted. It wasn't a sudden burst of motivation or a newfound wave of confidence. It was something heavier, something more solid. Responsibility. He walked into his professor's office without any of his usual excuses, without his armor of pretending everything was fine. His professor didn't lecture him or shame him. She just looked at him and asked a single, powerful question. Who do you want to be? Not what grades do you want, not how badly do you want to pass, but who? Who do you want to be? That question cut deeper than any criticism ever could, because it wasn't about school anymore. It was about his identity. It was about the person his daily choices were actively creating. It forced him to decide if he wanted to remain someone who protected his ego by avoiding effort, or if he wanted to become someone who showed up even when the outcome wasn't guaranteed. That night, sitting alone at his desk, Jason allowed himself to answer honestly for the first time in years. His answer wasn't confident or dramatic. It was just truthful. He said to himself, "I want to be someone who doesn't give up on himself." That simple sentence didn't magically transform his life overnight, but it changed its direction. The next morning, when the alarm rang, his body craved comfort. His mind begged for just a little more delay. Everything in him wanted to slip back into the familiar. But something was different. His identity had shifted. Not permanently, but intentionally. He stood up. He showed up to his class, and in that one small, unremarkable act, something incredibly powerful was born. Trust, not trust that he would succeed, but trust in himself for trying. Progress didn't arrive in a flash. There were still difficult days, confusing lectures, and moments when doubt whispered that all this effort might be pointless. But failure no longer felt like proof that he was broken. It started to feel like just another part of the process. Discipline stopped feeling like a punishment and started feeling like a form of self-respect. That semester didn't end with a spectacular GPA or any grand awards. But Jason was measuring success differently now. He measured it by consistency, by effort, by how closely his actions aligned with the person he chose to be. Semester by semester, things began to change. Not because motivation suddenly appeared, but because his new identity started to take root. The student who once hid in the back of the class began helping others understand the material. The person who was on the verge of quitting became someone others could rely on. The real victory wasn't a grade on a piece of paper. It was the deep, internal realization that discipline isn't something you're born with. It's something you practice, especially when no one is watching. It's a promise you keep to yourself on ordinary mornings, when quitting would be so much easier and safer. And maybe that's why this story matters to you. Because maybe you're not failing. Maybe you're just waiting. Waiting to feel ready. Waiting for motivation to strike like lightning. Waiting for confidence to arrive before you finally take action. Let this be the moment you stop waiting. You don't need to change your entire life today. You just need to show up once. Then do it again. And then again. Your identity isn't fixed. It's built through repetition, through the small choices you make every single day. So ask yourself the question that changed everything for Jason. Who do you want to be? Then wake up tomorrow and simply live the answer. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, consider subscribing for more content like this. We'll see you in the next one.